This video presents an example of how Uber has significant influence over the US rideshare market and uses that influence to protect its own interests. Uber's business model depends on people like you and me willing to transport passengers from point A to point B. Without drivers willing to provide rides, Uber would have no transportation service to offer through its app. According to this perspective, that dependence on drivers created a challenge that Uber needed to solve. What you're about to see is one out of numerous dirty strategies that Uber uses within the US market. Everything discussed in this video is presented as information that viewers can investigate and attempt to verify for themselves. Drivers on the Uber platform are generally classified as independent contractors. That means Uber cannot directly control when, where, or how often those drivers choose to work. As a result, drivers can typically go online or offline whenever they want. Uber's success depends on maintaining enough drivers to meet rider demand. To help maintain a steady supply of drivers, Uber has entered into private agreements with certain fleet operators in major markets such as Los Angeles, Austin, Dallas, and San Francisco. The claim is that these fleets are expected to provide a certain number of vehicles and drivers in strategically important areas of a city. So who are these fleets? They are transportation and logistics companies that have been operating for many years. In theory, any fleet owner who grows their business successfully could eventually reach a similar position. What do these fleets receive in return for maintaining this supply of drivers and vehicles for Uber? This is where the story becomes interesting and where the unfair advantage to other fleet owners exists. Certain fleets that have private agreements with Uber receive additional compensation for rides completed through the Uber platform. To understand why this matters, let's first look at how compensation typically works. When regular Uber drivers complete rides, Uber generally provides insurance coverage during the trip. The cost of that coverage is reflected in the fees associated with the ride. Those fees could be up to 50% of what the rider pays. Fleet companies operate differently because they carry their own commercial insurance policies that satisfy regulatory requirements. Because of this difference, Uber has what is referred to as a commercial supplement program. So, what is the commercial supplement program? The program provides additional compensation on a per-mile basis for rides completed by eligible fleet drivers. This compensation is paid in addition to the driver's standard ride earnings. At first glance, that may seem reasonable. However, certain fleets receive substantially higher supplemental payments than other fleets operating under similar conditions. For example, one fleet might receive approximately $1 per mile in supplemental compensation, while another fleet with a special arrangement with Uber receives significantly more. This creates an unfair competitive advantage among fleet operators providing similar services. You may be wondering how anyone could verify such a claim if this information is not publicly available. According to drivers who have shared this experience, one method is to work for one of these fleets and observe how earnings information is displayed in the uberDriver app. Ride-level earnings details are not visible while they are actively associated with such fleet accounts. Instead, they may see a generic hourly rate label on the offer card presented to the driver. As a result, drivers cannot easily see the breakdown of earnings for each individual trip. So how could someone determine what each ride actually paid? What discloses such hidden earnings is that after leaving the fleet and successfully being removed from the fleet account, detailed earnings information becomes visible again within the app. If that occurs, drivers can review individual rides and compare the compensation structure with what they observed previously. This process reveals additional commercial supplement payments beyond what is commonly paid to other fleets. I have personally spoken with multiple drivers who reported similar experiences, although viewers should conduct their own research and verification using the method I mentioned. Here are some screenshots that show such extra payments. Pause the video to look at them more closely. The challenge is that proving the existence and details of private agreements can be difficult, and companies generally have broad discretion in choosing their business partners. Another claim frequently made by drivers is that certain fleet drivers receive a higher volume of ride requests than others. Critics believe this helps keep those fleet operations profitable and encourages them to continue working with Uber. What you do with this information is up to you. Many drivers believe these practices create an uneven playing field. This concern is especially important to drivers and fleet owners who work long hours trying to earn a living. Does the rideshare industry need a different model where drivers own their customer relationships and operate more independently rather than using an app like Uber? With AI in our hands, building our own Uber-like app is really easy. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments.